In local matters, Utah Senate candidate and former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney is weighing in on President Trump's agenda ahead of his state's primary race tomorrow. In an op-ed for the Salt Lake Tribune, he wrote, quote, "I have and will continue to speak out when the president says or does something which is divisive, racist, sexist, anti-immigrant, dishonest, or destructive to democratic institutions. I do not make this a daily commentary. I express contrary views only when I believe it is a matter of substantial significance."
He also said, quote, "I will support the president's policies when I believe that they are the best interest, of Utah and the nation." So for some analysis, I want to bring in Ben Wood. He is a government reporter for the Salt Lake City Tribune. Ben, thanks for joining us. So Mitt Romney has been a longtime critic of the president. He's now saying that he wants to work with the president. How is the Trump factor really affecting the race there? And does it seem to be working for or against Romney?
Romney's in a very secure position. You know, Trump won the state of Utah, but he did so with a plurality of the vote. So there is a fair amount of Trump skepticism here in Utah, despite being a deep red state. That said, there is also a lot of support. So in this op-ed and in Mitt Romney's past positions, you do see him walking a line between full-throated support and full-throated opposition. He's leaving the door open to himself to oppose what he says is worth opposing, while also throwing, credit to the president on things that he likes.
So, as you know, Romney's criticism of President Trump's zero-tolerance immigration policy was relatively mild. He only retweeted agreement with former First Lady Laura Bush's criticism of the practice, and he wrote this, quote, "I agree that we need a more compassionate answer." How will the controversy over immigration factor into tomorrow's race?
Yeah, it could be quite a factor. Here in Utah, the Utah Republican Party tends to be softer on immigration than the National Republican Party. There was a lot of sympathy expressed by our political leaders for the families who were separated at the border. Romney certainly called for an end to that family separation. Our congressional delegation were working to stop those separations as well. Mike Kennedy, Romney's opponent, he didn't say much publicly about the situation. He kind of sidestepped it. So I think there's some calculus there that maybe this issue has been sidestepped for the time being. But Romney's definitely in position for success tomorrow.
So say he wins the GOP nomination. How does he proceed? Does he continue this path of criticizing the president when he feels that things are unfair and then praising him for other things? Or does he step away from any criticism of the president in the hopes that he does not upset Donald Trump's base there?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is if he wins the nomination, he can do just about whatever he wants. I mean, Utah is going to elect a Republican senator. That said, I mean, we've seen Romney's positions in the past. He called a press conference during the election to call Trump a phony and a fraud. There's kind of two scenarios. Either he will become emboldened by the nomination or he will feel obligated to fall in line. And I think we're all waiting to see which one of those two things happens.
So Ben McAdams, he's the twice elected mayor of Salt Lake County, is hoping to unseat the Republican incumbent Congresswoman Mia Love in Utah's very competitive 4th District. Love has tried to tie McAdams to Nancy Pelosi. What role is the House Minority Leader playing in this race?
Probably not as much as in other areas. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is a common boogeyman here in the state anytime a Democrat runs for federal office. But in the end, as you mentioned, it's a competitive race, but it's probably about the only competitive race we have. The state still leans Republican. That district leans Republican. So a lot of the debate happening there is more focused on Trump. Representative Love has been distancing herself as she's been pushing on immigration. She's been holding town halls where she expresses some skepticism, whereas Ben McAdams is certainly trying to paint her into that corner.
Well, that's really interesting. As we've been talking about all these races, it's interesting to see which races emerge as a commentary on the Trump administration and which races are truly local races and local issues.
Yeah, I'm curious, too. I mean, Ben, Mia Love was sort of a darling of the Republican Party when she sort of burst onto the national scene. She's had an interesting backstory. She's the child of Haitian immigrants. She came out very forcefully against the alleged comments the president made when he referred to Haiti and other countries as S-hole countries. How has she been tracking? I mean, is she still sort of, because it feels like before the Trump movement, the Trump train, Mia Love was a representative of what the Republican Party saw itself, or that what they wanted to see themselves as. Big tent. And now it feels like, because she's struggling here, that maybe it's going away. But Utah is so unique compared to some of the other red states.
It is, and part of that struggle is that Ben McAdams is one of the best positioned Democrat candidates we've had in a long time. Against a lesser-known Democrat, the congresswoman probably wouldn't be struggling at all. I mean, there is something to be said about the name recognition and just the chances of a two-term county mayor has in going in that particular race. You know, Trump in Utah, like I said, was a plurality winner. He's neither universally loved nor universally hated. So in a way, that has allowed our races here to be more local. It's less of a referendum on Trump because the state as a whole is still making up its mind on the president.
Really interesting. Ben Wood, thank you so much. Appreciate it.